what took the market down so much? That's my question. Here's my answer. Growing talk that we're headed towards a recession. That was in the market yesterday. Well, look who's here to answer the question. Stephen Moore, chief economist at Heritage, author of the book Trumponomics. Stephen, welcome to the show.
Hi, Stuart.
Wait a second.
I'm chomping at the bit here.
I know, okay. Over the summer, 4% growth. The fall, 3% growth. The winter, Atlanta Fed says 2% growth. Are we headed for recession?
No, hell no. I mean, well, first of all, would I contradict? The best man at my wedding, Larry Kudlow? I mean, he's right. I don't see you can't see a recession on the horizon. You may be looking at slightly different numbers than I am, but look, for the last 6 months, the economy is growing at 3.5%. That's a very robust rate of growth. Is there going to be a slowdown in the fourth quarter? Maybe a little bit, but if you look at the fundamentals of the economy, look at construction, look at manufacturing, look at industrial production, look at consumer confidence. Look at, all of these things are so positive. I remain very bullish on the stock market. I'm very optimistic about, this path. We set this path out for Trump. We talk about this in the book. 3% to 3.5% growth. It's achievable. We can do it with the tax cuts, with the deregulation. Now, a lot of these Keynesians are out there. I debate them all the time, and they say the tax cut is, it's just a sugar fix. That's ridiculous. First of all, that's a Keynesian concept. This wasn't a sugar fix in terms of demand. It was to incentivize production, incentivize profits, incentivize people bringing factories here, which is happening. I mean, we're sucking capital in from the rest of the world. So show me the negative signs in the economy that suggest a recession.
Is Goldman Sachs totally wrong?
Totally wrong.
Because they say late next year you're down below 2% growth.
Look, the Goldman Sachs economist, he's predicted 8 of the last 2 recessions. So, I mean, he's always bullish, right?
Point taken. I've got to talk about trade.
Yeah.
First of all, I want you to listen to what Larry Kudlow told me yesterday on this program about the China trade.
I watched.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, well, for our viewers, roll tape.
Any deal between the two countries has got to be in American interest, without any question. And it's got to include IP theft. It's got to include changes in ownership. It's got to stop the forced transfer of technology. It's got to go to 0 tariffs and 0 non-tariff barriers. It's got to have enforceability. It's got to have strict timetables. It has to have, frankly, more than we've seen so far.
Hold on a second, Steve. We just heard this morning that Peter Navarro, super hard line, Peter Navarro, is not going to be meeting with Xi Jinping or President Trump in Argentina next week. Hardliner off the table. Big deal?
I think that's probably, look, I like Peter personally. I don't agree. I mean, he takes a very hard line with China. And the fact that he's not going to be at the negotiating table probably helps get a deal done. Now, look, do I think a deal's going to get done? When is this, next week?
Yes, it is.
Next couple of weeks.
30th,
look, I still think they're far apart. And look, people always ask me, when is this deal going to get done? The ball is in Beijing's court. Trump is not going to back down here. I mean, he has very serious concerns about the way China is behaving with respect to, you just heard Larry Kudlow. Amen to everything he said. They are stealing our intellectual property. They have not opened up their markets to us. They do charge us much higher tariffs than we do them. We need a level playing field.
But it's going to be a long time before you get any kind of deal with those two sides.
Well, we'll see. The big story that people aren't covering is the fact that China's economy is in big trouble right now. Their growth rate's been cut in half. Their stock market's down by 20%. The question, Stuart, is what is their pain threshold? When do they come to the negotiating table and say, we'll do this?
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to say sometime in the six months or so.
6 months or so?
Yeah.
All right, Steve. Thanks.
And when that happens, the market's going to 30,000. I mean, that will be like taking a champagne bottle for Thanksgiving and shaking it up and taking the cork off it.
Steve Moore, you're all right. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
You got it all in, lad.
You got it. Have fun.